Good morning and welcome back. This video is going to be about the landing gears, both the main and the nose gear. I have my box of stuff that where I put all the landing gear stuff, and I have a few tools. Let me show you three different tools, same size. They're 1.5 millimeter hex drivers, and the reason they're 1.5 millimeter hex drivers is because the let me get it focused here. The locking nut for the collar that holds the wheels on, the tip of that is 1.5 millimeter in size. So I use three different kinds. One is enough, but you might find it convenient to have a very long straight one, accurately milled 1.5 millimeter. You can just use a straight little one that comes in a set. The third kind is the Dubro 1.5 millimeter, that where the tip is called a ball hex, where if you have to get at it from an angle, the ball actually fits in and has a bit of play in it, but they're not as strong as the straight ones. So use a straight one when you can. If you have to reach around or tilt a little bit to get to the locking nut, the ball one is good. We'll need to do thread lock on these, but I'll do the later. As I've said before, I'm going to have a whole video about everything you need to make sure you put thread lock in before we finish the aircraft. So the first thing you have to do is, the goal is this, okay? You got a locking collar here, a locking collar here, and it needs to spin freely. Okay, because if this thing stops, the aircraft might not land very well. So that's the goal. You're going to find that some wheels, as you can see on this one, have some plastic residue around the hole, and that's obviously not good. If you try to stick the through, it won't come through. These wheels are fairly good quality, slightly oversized. The size of the hole is, if you can read this, it's 5/32, and what you have to do is, the first step I like to do is just try to drill it out nice and straight by hand. To drill the hole out so that you can get the plastic that is sometimes misformed, and if this little thing won't go through, the other one definitely won't go through. So you want to make sure that this gets nice and through and not very tight. This one's still fairly tight for the drill, for the 5/32 drill here. What you're trying to do is get that drilled out so it, now that it's semi-drilled, let me show you the other one that I have already drilled out. This one, the drill should fit in fairly easily. See, I can just quickly do that. So sometimes what you have to do is, depending upon which side you think the blockage is, and the blockage is on this side because that's where it was at its worst, I'm going to put it in a simple drill and hold it very steady. Not necessarily drilling in all the way. Drilling at the opening might be enough, but you want the the opening to be in good shape, and you want to be able to go all the way through it. That will actually ream it out a little if you're careful with it. What you don't want to do is do the next drill size up. The next drill size up is a 11/64. If you use that, I don't recommend it, but if you use it, it will wallow, and the wheel will wallow as it rolls. That's not good. Typically, you don't have to go to that extreme. So this is the one I've been working on. Let me try one more pass at it. Okay. And the other thing is the tip of this will have a burr on it. Most always have a burr on it. The other thing the tip might have is it might bulge at the end. Okay. That's probably going to be okay as long as you get the burr off, because if you can get the wheel to go through, and now this one is going through nicely. So I've taken the burr off of this one with, you can do it several ways. Using sandpaper, okay, but only sand the tip. Do not sand this part, the shiny part, because that's polished and it will rough it up too much to be any good. So this is 150 grit sandpaper. This is 400 grit emery paper, wet dry paper. But only sand the tip. Do not sand this, because it will put a rough area on there. So now this one I was working on goes through nicely here, okay, and spins nicely. The third one does the same on this. But then the third one also needs to go nicely on the landing gear, because all three are the same. And as you can see, although as you can see, the main landing gear goes on nicely and spins, and on the other one goes on nicely and spins. I'm not sure what's different. You can see one's bright and shiny, one's not. So this one might be slightly oversized than this. I could measure it and find out. The other thing it could be is that it's bent. Let's see. No, they're both the same straightness. Okay. So you just have to work with it. Find which one works the best. Okay, they're both about the same. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and find one that works here for this one, and I'll continue to put the collars on. So you're going to put a collar on as far back as you can. It'll actually turn the corner a little bit like that. Okay, you don't want it to turn the corner, but you want to get it as close to the end as you can. Take your driver, put it in the locking nut, then position it with your finger where you think the end is, and lock that down. And notice I'm putting the locking nut at the bottom here. Okay, just finger tight, not tight. We'll lock those down with Loctite later. But if you do it that way, then with the landing gear is up like this, you can get at it from the top. Let's put a wheel on. Okay, spins nicely. Get another locking collar. You got to make sure that the locking collar, the lock nut is, you can see the lock nut inside the hole there. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that that is out of the way. Back it out some. Put it on here. And get the nut in. Now you want it fairly, you want this fairly tight up against. I'm sorry, you don't want it too tight against the wheel that it won't spin, but you want it not to have any play. Okay, and so that's spinning nicely. There's not a side-to-side play very much. I'm going to tighten that a little bit more. And what you're going to see is that the landing gear doesn't come all the way out of that collar. Well, that's okay. It'll be fine as long as there's not side-to-side play, and as long as there's enough grip for the lock nut, the locking screw there to tighten down. It'll be fine. So that one's good. I'm going to stop the camera for a minute, figure out what's wrong with the nose gear and a wheel to get it to fit, and I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, I'm back, and what I've found concerning these wheels is the main landing gear wheel measures 385, 386 in that area in millimeters. The nose gear measures 401, 402. Okay, so the nose gear is slightly bigger. That's unfortunate. However, what I've also noticed is, I'm going to keep the original wheel that I used on the main landing gear together, and so the other thing I found was, if you try to put it in from this side, you go in about a little more than halfway and hit a blocking point, but up until then it spins nicely. On the other side, you can only go in maybe a quarter of an inch before you hit that blocking point. So there's something inside the hole of this that's causing it to be a problem. So I don't think I want to use a larger drill bit. That's, to me, out of the question. That's a last resort. I can do that sometime later if I need to. What I am going to try to do is, this drill bit does go through easily, but what I'm going to do is take the side that is blocked, and that's going to be this side here, because that goes in fairly nicely and goes in about 2/3 of the way. So I'm going to take the side that's blocked, take my drill, and only go in as far as I need to, and try to wallow that out. Plastic is soft, and we'll see if it works any better. Okay, I can now get it all the way through, so I'm making progress, but all the way through doesn't mean it's spinning, so that's encouragement. I couldn't get it through there before, and what I may need to do is go in a little deeper and try to wallow some more. At some point, you're going to get it to the point where the other drill is going to be the best solution, but I don't think I'm to that point yet. I'm going to try something by hand here. Clear it off. I can see some plastic in there. I'm going to make sure all the plastic is good and that it's not actually rough. And so it's not actually rough inside. I'm going to twist it by hand and see if I can get this to fit. I'm going to take my time on this because I want this to work well. I don't like sloppy wheels. Alright, now we got it. So there was just one spot inside the wheel that now it's working okay. And think I'll go ahead and try the collars on these because I haven't tried them before. You get a collar all the way at this end. Last collar here. Make sure you got 6 collars because that's what came with it. That's what I put in the box, and there's still 6 in there. Okay, so I'm going to try to get this relatively tight. Best way to do that is by getting the nut driver to just put a little bit of pressure on it and tighten it. Oh, too tight. So back the nut off. Alright, I'll get that in there sooner or later. Here we go. Hard to do this in the air sometimes while I'm trying to show you on the film. Okay, that's good. Alright, so the molding inside the plastic wheel, plastic hub, wheel of the tire was just causing it to not go well. Plus the slightly oversized of the nose wheel didn't help because the landing gear fit in fine. It was just a silly 1/4 millimeter, I guess. Okay, so that's good. Next we'll be at the airplane installing these. Thank you.